This is Sebastian Middle Martinez for Fight Club Rush, here with Gerard Burns, who faces Zoran Milic in the co-main event of FCR 12, broadcast live around the world on UFC Fight Pass. And Gerard, how does that sound in just your second pro fight to be competing in the co-main event on a show that will be broadcast on the biggest combat sports platform in the world?
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. So it does. Who doesn't want to be fighting in UFC Fight Pass? Can't wait to put on a show.
And when you were working your way up the amateur ranks in Ireland, did you imagine that you would, sort of score this big of an opportunity this early in your pro career?
Sort of. I always expect the unexpected. I know anything can happen, and with the work I'm putting in, why not? Yeah.
And you have an extensive amateur career in Ireland, and I've always said it many times, both from broadcasts and interviews, the Irish amateur scene is one of the strongest in all of Europe. But it's not always that the records are kept on Tapology and stuff like that. So I'm sure you have way more fights than is displayed on Tapology. Could you sort of just run through how many circa amateur fights do you have? Because I know that you have an amateur title as well.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, I've only had 5 amateur fights. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Some people find that hard to believe, but I climbed the ranks quite quickly, and I'm prepared and I'm ready to fight the best already this early in my career.
Well, I assumed you had just as many that weren't listed on Tapology. Okay, there you go. And so you were signed on now to fight Zoran Milic, who, he's from Västerås. He's a hometown guy. He's also one who's known for a bit of showmanship, a bit of trash talk, and he perhaps struck some cultural nerves when we interviewed him heading into the fight. I'm sure you heard his comments where he called you English and stuff like that. What was your reaction when he said those things?
Man, I just let them things blow off. I don't let them get to me. I do my talking in the cage, and it's all part of the game. Yeah. So let's go.
But it doesn't add a little extra fire? Maybe makes it easier to do that last push-up or something like that?
Sort of always good for the fans and stuff, and gets it a bit heated. But it's going to be the same outcome when we step out of that cage, and it's going to be me with my hand raised. That's for sure. 100%.
And how do you go about doing that? I mean, how familiar are you with Milic's fighting style?
I'll just get in, touch him up, and see how we go. But I truly believe that I'm going to take him out.
What would you say is your biggest advantage then? I mean, if you size up your skills, just matching up with his.
I just think overall I'm a better fighter. Yeah.
And this will be the first time that many Swedish fans will be introduced to you. I know you've obviously got a lot of fans in Ireland. I'm sure some of them are coming over to watch the show as well, and those who can't will be seeing it on UFC Fight Pass. But how would you describe your fighting style to somebody who will see you for the first time on Saturday here in Västerås?
I would say I'm everything that he doesn't want to fight.
Very good answer. Very good answer. And wrapping things off, do you have any final shout-outs or final messages, either to fans, sponsors, or whatever?
Yeah, of course. Well, shout out to my wonderful sponsors here on my jersey, and shout out to my family and friends and all supporters, and yourselves, obviously, for letting me on the show and giving me the opportunity.
Well, we're glad to have you, and we are definitely looking forward to a fight, and I'm sure fans all around the world are as well. So be sure to tune in to the co-main event of Fight Club Rush 12 when Gerard Burns collides with Zoran Milic. Thank you very much. Good luck in the fight.
Thank you, sir.